Here I am in the Houston, Texas airport. Actually, it's a bit of a rainy day, as you can see outside, and we're just waiting for our next plane to go to our true destination on this particular trip. Now, what's interesting about this place is I think of that line from the movie Apollo 13, Houston, we have a problem. And I'm not sure whether that's actually something that was legitimately said or not, but here's something that when sometimes people get notice of some kind in the workplace that they got a problem. So let's talk about something like harassment or discrimination in some way. People aren't willing to come forward directly, but you get an anonymous email or you get something where a person writes an anonymous note and they say, Stephen, I'll use myself as an example, they say Stephen is, let's say, making sexual jokes on a regular basis or is actually making racial jokes, that kind of stuff. But you can't find the source of it, so you're thinking, okay, do we have a problem or don't we have a problem? Well, you can't just leave it. You can't just let it go, because what if in fact there is something, and in fact your workplace might be even more toxic because someone didn't feel as though they could come forward to say it, or maybe it's not toxic but they just don't feel comfortable yet on what to do. Well, what you want to do is at least, let's say, since they talked about Stephen, you should go to Stephen. You say, okay, look, this is anonymous, so at the moment I just need to ask you, have you said or done these kind of things that someone is alleging? If the person says, not at all, not one little bit, and they can even say, look, you can talk to other people and realize this is not my behavior. If you want to follow up on that, you can. You have to be very careful, though, because it's an anonymous comment that was made, and so Stephen should not be ostracized or Stephen should not be criticized in some way if, in fact, he hasn't done anything wrong. It also could be when you talk to the person, that this person actually says, well, I've done a little bit of that. Well, here's your opportunity to actually say, okay, look, this is where you get in trouble, this is where you can have a problem, and these kind of things. And what you might want to consider doing actually is changing your behavior in certain ways and basically trying to find a solution to it. So the problem with just ignoring something like that is that there could be something to it. On the other hand, you can only give so much credibility when a person isn't willing to put his or her name to it. Anyway, there's lots of things when you consider that you might want to deal with. If you're interested, go to my website, stephenhammond.ca. That's stephenhammond.ca with a PH in the Stephen. Or you can go to my humanrightstrainingstore.com. That's the humanrightstrainingstore.com, and you can find some resources that can be helpful for these or other areas. Anyway, hope you get an opportunity to have a nicer day in Houston the next time you're here.